I was born Alessandra Marie Wilson. It's now Parker Dakota Wilson.
I'm Roy. I use he, him pronouns. I am trans guy, and I'm pansexual, gray romantic.
My name's Savi Mendez. I go by she, her pronouns.
I never really fit into the stereotypical, like, oh, hey, like, girls should be this way, play with this kind of toy, whatever. Like, 8th grade came, and I was like, hey, like, I think I'm lesbian.
I came out as bi to my mom when I was like 12 or 13. I didn't tell anybody besides my mom.
I started noticing that I was different when I was young.
Well, I've always been bullied. I've been bullied since I was little for being short or scrawny or just because I was different.
Youth Outright, also called YO, and YO is a place for teens, ages 14 and it goes to 20. It's a safe space where it's just you get to socialize with people. It's just kind of a place where you can be you, and it's okay to be you. There's no judgment, no anything, and it's just amazing. I hope that in the future that a lot more cities, towns can maybe have something like that for their youth, because I know that a lot don't.
I am from Macon County, and Youth Outright to me, it was the only support system I had over there. They took me in when I didn't know what was going on, and nobody around me kind of cared what was going on. It was difficult growing up Catholic and Hispanic because our traditions, it's not common for a Hispanic person to truly come out and be comfortable with it, because family is a big thing for us. Family is everything. And getting pushed away from your family is pretty much the same thing as dying in a way, because you want to be loved. You want to have that support system. And I had to make that choice whenever I was a freshman. I officially came out when I was about to be institutionalized. I had previously had a suicide attempt, and they ignored the first suicide attempt. I eventually just kind of told my mom why I was doing the things I was doing, because I was getting bullied at school, and I was trying to come out to her, but she wouldn't have it. And so I had another suicide attempt, except this one was more severe. This time I was actually hospitalized. And I was in the hospital for a week, and they ended up trying to send me to another hospital, because we don't have a mental hospital in Franklin. So they were trying to send me to one that actually could take care of me. And in the room, they asked my mom what she wanted to do, and she just said that she wanted me to get better. And they asked me a lot of questions in front of my parents. They asked me questions about who I was, why I was sad, and then the biggest one, what was my sexual orientation. That was the hardest thing, coming out to my mom in front of a bunch of doctors with me being just restrained to a bed in a way. It broke her heart, because she was sad that I was in a hospital, but she was, I guess, more sad to me. She looked more sad because I was gay. We didn't speak for a long time. When I went to the hospital, I was hospitalized for another 2 weeks. When I finally got out, I was very angry with my parents, because they told me it was just a phase, and they didn't really understand why I tried to kill myself. It's really hard, because I am at a better stage now than I was before, and I'm sad to say, but it was because of a lot of suicide attempts. The last one that I had, I actually broke through to my parents. My parents every day would constantly tell me to get in the closet, would constantly tell me, don't be gay at this family reunion. Don't mention your sexual orientation. If anybody mentions it to you, deny, deny, deny. And I was tired of hiding. So I said no, and things got worse for me and my parents. We didn't speak. And then when I finally tried to do it again, that's when they realized that this time it was on them. That this time they were my bullies. When I got out, they took me in with such loving arms that I don't think they ever, in a way, kind of forgave what they did, because to this day they still apologize. To this day they still tell me that the reason why they didn't want me being gay was because they knew how cruel the world is. And my parents actually had to separate from their family because of everything that my family was giving to them. They were saying stuff like, you are awful parents for raising a daughter who became gay and not stopping it. Because to me, it's not a choice. To me, I never chose to be gay, but I would not have it any other way. Because I'm happy, and that's the biggest thing for me, and my parents see that I'm happy, and that makes them happy. And so they would rather split from their family to be a family with me, and I just absolutely love that.
Youth Outright, group spaces like this saves lives. If I didn't go to Youth Outright, or if I didn't meet the people I knew for Youth Outright, I would not be here today.
She had heard about Yo from a friend of hers at school, and Rachel has always been a little in a bubble. She doesn't like people to touch her, and she's very quiet, and she would never go into somewhere and initiate a conversation. And in crowded rooms, she would, sit back and observe, but not really participate. Within maybe 2 months of her going to Yo, I saw a personality change. She became gregarious and just created this support group of friends her own age that are having similar experiences and similar challenges. She has learned everything from self-defense to safe sex to the history of homosexuals during the Holocaust, the Stonewall riots. Just so much knowledge that she's not going to get in school, because it's invisible history to a lot of the public.
The other night, we went to Trans Day of Remembrance. It happens every year on the 20th of November, mourning and honoring the deaths of the people, trans lives who have been murdered the past year. E.A. Da Silva, age 40, shot to death, July 21st, 2017, Brazil. What scares me is that could end up to be one of my friends. It could end up being me as a name, or my friends or acquaintance as a name, and that absolutely terrifies me. It's what if one of my friends or are gonna be on that name list next year?
Suicide is definitely in the past for me, but there are so many people out there that it is still on the table. It is still right there, 5 minutes too late, 5 minutes before, it's there. Youth Outright was definitely the turning point in my life. Without Youth Outright, I don't think I ever would have really connected with my family, because I remember my dad dropping me off every day. Even though he didn't understand what was going on, he would still drop me off. and I would come home and I'd talk about it, and Youth Outright, it just made life better.